SFL, it's me, Key. I'm coming to you live for our Week 2 SFL News special podcast. We are going to go ahead and just get right on started here. Love story, Kansas City Chiefs versus the King of Kingdoms. King of Kingdoms stomps the Chiefs in a massive blowout. Tua sucks. Xavier Worthy got injured right at the start, giving a big old fat 0. This team is almost as bad as mine. No team is as bad as mine. Victor, on the other side, had massive games, both from Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Coleman. Scored almost 200 points, 198.72 to be exact. He was the highest points of the week. We are going to go ahead and look at the next game. It's going to be G-Hole versus Purple Morning of JJ Skull. Dylan gets the win on the back of a 57-point game from Allen and a 30-point game from Debo. I knew Dylan would hit on one of his gamble wide receivers. Debo is the guy. Was very, very much involved this game. On the other side of the field here for G-Hole, Justin Fields scored a whopping 40 points, but the rest of his team did not do much at all. If CeeDee Lamb didn't have Stone for hands, G-Hole could have had a chance and maybe gotten this game close, but it just didn't happen. Dylan gets the win, 173 to 154. Let's move right on over to the Donnie's division, where we have the game, the Midnight Ride versus Martian Law. Will comes up with the win, 195 to 141. Another blowout with Midnight led by Justin Herbert's 45 points and a solid showing from the rest of the team. On the other side of the field, Martian Law had a very pedestrian game. Burrow scored only 15 points. Purdy and Myers did show up to play, but the rest of his team didn't do much. Kind of worried about this team now that Purdy is hurt. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. We have Hertz Fist Dailies versus the Goblin. Very close. Nail biter. 174 to 170. Kyle squeaks this one by with only 4 points. Daniels and Zay Flowers both scored 30 points for him, which led to the win. Holden loses on a very poor game by Cam Ward, who only gave him 6 points. Rough matchup, but the Goblin had a great game from his wide receivers and should be a good team for the rest of the season. Let's move on to the Dudes division, where we have my team, the Guillotine, versus Hey Guys, Don't Say Retarded, led by Ari. Ari dominates this game with 4 points from Aaron Rodgers, and everyone on my team underperformed. My team is ass. The only bad thing is McCaffrey is alive and still knows how to play football. So that's nice. Let's move on to the Haas versus the Razor's Edge. The Husbands versus the Razor's Edge here. This is another one of the squeaker matches. It came down to 167 points to 162 in favor of Human. And this game honestly came down to Monday Night Football. Both teams had great performances from their quarterbacks, which the quarterbacks carried this match for both teams. Igbuka for Human was the deciding factor with his 2 touchdowns and giving Human the win by 5 points. Now, let's go on ahead and look at our waivers and all the activities that we had this week for the waivers. D-Haas did his best American Pie movie impersonation and blew all of his load right at the start. He saw that booty and dropped $91 on that booty. And the next highest bid was $33 from Martian Law, which apparently his roster was full, so he couldn't even pick it up. Kyle bid $13. But yeah, $91 on booty. Wow, it's just incredible. Then he followed that up and blew $60 on the fanny. So he went for booty and the fanny. we know what D-House likes. Uh, this one was a lot closer on the second waiver. Razor's Edge with the $52 behind was not enough to beat out D-House's $60 bid. The next tight end off the board was Juan Johnson for $39. He bid out my bid of $35. D-House tried to get in on this one too. He bid 41, but he had already busted all his money on Fanny and Booty, so he couldn't get in. The next bid that we had was another tight end, Jake Donges, for $32 to the Midnight Ride. D-Haas was also trying to bid in on this one, $6. Obviously, he just didn't have the budget or already filled the spots by then. So Midnight Ride just blew $32 for no reason at all. He wants to defend, for not having Kittle. So I guess you can understand. The next bid is $31 by Rob, coming in on Calvin Austin. Ari came in for $9, so that was another massive overpay here. Dylan Sampson for $29 to the Razor's Edge. Human claimed $29. This one's really close. Martial Law came in $26, right behind him, barely beating him. The next bid we got here is Quentin Johnston for $28. QJ28. We joked a lot about this on the group chat. Apparently, Dylan believes that this man miraculously learned how to catch the football and will be able to keep on doing that for the rest of the season. Funnily enough, D-House was willing to bid $80. $80. Yeah, wild. Next bid here is Mac Jones for $13. Followed up by nobody really. All the other guys are all small bids. Juju Smith-Schuster for only $2 is actually kind of surprised to me. I didn't think that was gonna do much. And then overnight we had a wild trade go down. Yehouse decided he did want some fab for the rest of the season, despite acting like he didn't. So he went ahead and traded away Jamison Williams for $115. It was $100 originally to Ari, but we had the cuckening happening, and I believe it was our good old boy Jordan of the G-Hole Truck Stop is going to be the winner here. So let's go on and look at next week's games, shall we? Let's go ahead and start this off with the Donnie's division. First game we have is Midnight versus the Goblin. It's 4-2 for Will with his 2-game win streak. He's projected to win 149 to 141. Neither team has matchups that jump out to me, but the one that does is the Bowers injury. And if he's playing in the midnight game, the Monday night game as well, this could be tricky. I think Will wins if Bowers plays and is healthy, but if he doesn't, he will be in big trouble. Martial Law versus Hertz. Good old Rob versus Kyle game that we have here. It is 7-6 in Kyle's favor, but Rob is actually on a 3-game win streak ever since Kyle has lost his fantasy football mojo. Is this the year that Kyle gets his fantasy football mojo back? He's talking like he's got confidence. Flea Flicker says that it's not the year. It has Rob easily winning this game. Well, he did have Rob easily winning this game, but apparently his projections went way down. I think it's Brock Purdy getting injured. So now it's 140 to 137. He doesn't have Purdy. He's going to be rocking Joe Flacco instead, who's playing against Baltimore. I still think Rob with Joe Flacco is going to be better and will win this one. And to finish off Actually, that was the last Donnie's match. We are going to go on over to the Walters division. We started off with Purple versus Love Story. It's 6-4 to Dylan on a head-to-head. He won their last matchup, and he's projected to win again. 143 through 138, and I agree. Dylan has some good matchups, and Chiefs are playing the Eagles, so Gary should have a rough week this week. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game here. G-Hole versus the King of Kingdoms. 3-2 for Victor. He also won their last matchup against each other. And this one is projected to be a close one, with Victor having the slight lead of 143 to 137, but I personally really like the matchup on Jordan's side. I think big games from his quarterbacks and C.D. Lamb will get him the victory. I really like those matchups for the week. That will wrap up the Walters division. That means we only got the dudes remaining, and we have the Razor's Edge versus the Guillotine. Human is up 1-0 against me. And this is projected to be the game of the week, with both of us projected 146. I massively underperformed my projections last week. We'll see if that was a fluke, if my team really is that bad, or if I come back. Personally, I think Human has some great matchups on his side, and he could just send me to the pit of despair, which I actually think is what's going to happen, well, unfortunately. And for our last games, the Husbands versus the Rutard, we have D-Haas is up 4-2, and he also won their last matchup here between the two of them. But Ari's projected to win here big time, 149 to 121. We'll see if these two big waiver transfers from D-Haas will be different makers. He does have great matchups all across the board, and that could help him. Ari, on the other hand, is going to go double tight end again. It worked out well enough for him last week, but we will see what happens. And that was all of it. Thank you so much for watching the SFL News. You guys have a great day.